Hello dear learners, a very warm welcome to this session on self and society. I hope you are all doing well and ready to explore one of the most interesting, meaningful and thought-provoking topics in the social sciences. In our everyday life, we often use the word I. We say, I think, I feel, I believe, I want. But have you ever paused and reflected on an important question, who am I and how am I connected to society? This question looks simple, but the answer is quite deep. Whenever we think about ourselves, many questions arise in our mind, such as, who am I? What makes me different from others? Why do I think and behave the way I do? How do my family, culture, school, religion, society influence me? How do my actions influence others? The answer to these questions are not found by looking only within ourselves. They are closely connected with the people around us and the society in which we live. This is why the study of self and society is so important. In this module, we will understand that the self does not develop in isolation. Society plays a major role in shaping our thoughts, emotions, values, and identity. At the same time, individuals also influence, maintain, and sometimes change society through their actions. Before we move ahead, let us clearly understand the objectives of this module. By the end of this module, you will be able to understand the meaning of self and society, explain how the self develops through social interaction, describe important theories related to self and society, understand how culture, family, school, and groups shape identity, recognize the challenges of self-formation in modern society, appreciate the balance between individual freedom and social influence. Now, let us begin our discussion with understanding the meaning of self and society. To understand the relationship between self and society, we must first understand what is meant by self and society. The self refers to the way a person understands, experiences, and defines who they are. It is the inner picture or image that an individual carries about themselves. This inner picture develops gradually through life experiences, social interactions, and personal reflections. The self helps a person answer important questions such as, who am I? What do I believe in? And how do I see myself in relation to others? The self is not something we are born with in a complete form. Rather, it develops and changes over time as we interact with family members, teachers, friends, and society. It is shaped by both personal experiences and social influences. The self includes several important components which together form a person's overall sense of identity. These are, number one, thoughts. Thoughts refer to the ideas, opinions, and perceptions that a person has about themselves and the world around them. These include how a person interprets situations, how they solve problems, and how they reflect on their own actions. For example, a person may think, I'm good at teaching, or I need to improve my communication skills. Such thoughts strongly influence behavior, confidence, and decision making. Number second, feelings. Feelings are the emotional experiences related to the self. These include emotions such as happiness, sadness, pride, fear, guilt, and anxiety. How a person feels about themselves plays a crucial role in mental health and well-being. Positive feelings about the self lead to confidence and emotional stability, while negative feelings may result in low self-esteem or self-doubt. Feelings are often shaped by feedback from others and life experiences. Another important component of self are beliefs. Beliefs are the ideas and convictions that a person holds to be true about themselves and the world. These may include beliefs about abilities, morality, success, or failure. For example, a person may believe I can succeed if I work hard, or I am not good at mathematics. Such beliefs guide behavior and motivation and can either encourage personal growth or limit potential. Attitudes. Attitudes refer to a person's tendency to think, feel, and behave in a certain way towards people, objects, or situations. Attitudes reflect a person's outlook on life and influence how they respond to different situations. For instance, a positive attitude toward learning encourages curiosity and effort, while a negative attitude may create resistance and avoidance. Attitudes are learned through socialization and personal experiences. Values. Values are deeply held principles that guide behavior and decision making. They help a person decide what is right or wrong, important or unimportant. Examples of values include honesty, respect, responsibility, kindness, and equality. Values are largely shaped by family, culture, religion, and education. They form the moral foundation of the self and influence long-term life choices. Self-image. Self-image refers to how a person sees themselves both physically and psychologically. It includes perceptions about appearance, abilities, personality, traits, and social roles. Identity. Identity is the overall sense of who a person is. It includes personal identity such as interests, goals, and personality traits, and social identity such as gender, profession, religion, and cultural background. Identity gives a sense of continuity and uniqueness. It helps individuals understand their place in society and provides meaning and direction in life. It is important to remember that the self is not fixed. It keeps changing as we grow, learn, interact with others, and face new experiences in life. Now, society. Society refers to a group of people who live together and share culture, language, values, norms, traditions. Social institutions like family, school, religion, and government. Society provides rules, expectations, and guidelines that shape how people should behave. It teaches us what is considered right or wrong, acceptable or unacceptable. The relationship between self and society is very close, continuous, and interdependent. The self and society cannot be understood separately because both influence and shape each other throughout life. The self develops within society, and at the same time, society exists and functions because of individuals. Society shapes the self. Society plays a crucial role in the formation and development of the self. From birth, an individual is surrounded by social influences such as family, culture, language, customs, traditions, and institutions like school and religion. Through interaction with others, a person learns how to think, behave, and feel. Society provides values, norms, and rules that guide individual behavior. The self shapes society. Just as society influences the self, individuals also contribute to the development and change of society. Through their actions, ideas, creativity, and behavior, individuals maintain social traditions or bring about social change. Writers, teachers, leaders, reformers, and ordinary citizens influence society by expressing new ideas, questioning existing norms, and promoting positive values. Thus, society is not a fixed structure. It is continuously created and recreated through individual actions. Self develops through social interaction. The self does not develop in isolation. It emerges through social interaction with others. By communicating, cooperating, and responding to others, individuals form an understanding of who they are. Feedback from parents, teachers, peers, and society acts as a mirror through which people see themselves. Positive social interaction helps in developing confidence and self-esteem, while negative interaction may affect self-worth. Mutual and dynamic relationship. The relationship between self and society is mutual and dynamic. Society influences the self by shaping identity, values, and behavior, while the self influences society by participating in social life and contributing to cultural, social, and institutional change. This interaction continues throughout life and changes with time and context. Now coming to objective number 2, how the self develops through social interaction. Dear students, after understanding the meaning and self and society, let us move to the next objective, which explains how the self develops through social interaction. The relationship between the self and society is mutual and dynamic. This means that both influence each other continuously. On one hand, society shapes the self. From birth, individuals are surrounded by family, community, school, and culture. Through interaction with others, people learn language, values, beliefs, and acceptable ways of behavior. For example, a child learns how to speak by listening to people around them. Values such as honesty, respect, discipline, and responsibility are taught by parents, teachers, and elders. On the other hand, the self also shapes society. Individuals are not just passive learners. Through their actions, ideas, and behavior, people contribute to culture, follow traditions, and sometimes bring social change. Writers, teachers, leaders, and ordinary citizens influence society in many ways. This shows that self and society grow together and cannot be separated. Social nature of human development. Human beings are social by nature. Unlike animals, human babies are born completely dependent on others. They rely on caregivers for food, protection, language, emotional care. Without social interaction, a child cannot develop properly. A child who grows up in isolation will not be able to develop language, self-awareness, emotional balance, social skills. This clearly shows that social interaction is essential for self-development. From childhood to old age, human beings continue to learn through interaction with others. Through family, school, peer groups, and society, individuals learn how to behave in different situations, what is right and wrong, how to control and express emotions, how to understand and evaluate themselves. All this learning happens through society. Therefore, The self is not formed alone but develops continuously through social relationships and experiences. To understand the relationship between self and society more clearly, it is important to study the major theories that explain how the self is formed and shaped through social life. Now, coming to objective number 3, theoretical foundations of self and society. Many thinkers and sociologists have explained that the self does not develop in isolation. Instead, it grows through continuous interaction with family, peers, culture, and society as a whole. These theories help us understand how individuals learn who they are, how they think, and how they behave in social situations. In the following section, we will discuss some important theories related to self and society. Number 1, symbolic interactionism. One of the most important theories related to self and society is symbolic interactionism. This theory was developed mainly by George Herbert Mead, Charles Cooley. According to this theory, the self develops through social interaction. Meaning is created through symbols, especially language. We learn who we are by interacting with others. What is Mead's concept of self? George Herbert Mead is known by his theory of I and me. He explained that the self has two parts, I part and me part. The I part, which is the spontaneous and creative part, which represents personal freedom and which acts without much thinking. The me part, which is the social part of the self, which represents society rules, norms and expectations, and which thinks before acting. This can be understood by an example. Suppose you want to speak loudly in class. That is the I. You stop yourself because it is not allowed. That is the me. The self develops through a continuous interaction between I and me. Now let us see what Cooley's looking-gila self concept is. Charles Cooley explained self-development through the idea of looking-gila self. According to him, the self develops in 3 steps. We imagine how we appear to others, we imagine how others judge us, and we develop feelings about ourselves based on those judgments. The famous quote of Cooley's fits here, that is, I am not what I think I am, and I am not what you think I am. I am what I think you think I am. The idea is that our sense of self is not rooted in who we think we are, nor in how others sees us. Instead, it's a hall of mirrors. We define ourselves based on our interpretation of how others perceive us. In simpler terms, it is not I am or you think, but I think you think. Thus, society acts like a mirror that reflects our self-image. Another interesting approach to understand self in relation to society is Goffman's dramaturgical approach. Irving Goffman compared social life to a theater. According to him, we all perform different roles in different situations. We present ourselves differently to different audiences. According to him, there is always a front stage and a backstage. Front stage, where we perform for others. Example, teacher in the classroom. Backstage, where we relax and be ourselves. For example, at home with family. This shows that identity is situational and flexible, not fake. Now coming to objective number 4, which is a role of culture and social institutions in shaping identity. Identity does not develop in a vacuum. Every individual is born into a particular culture and social environment, and this environment strongly influences how people think about themselves, how they relate to others, and how they behave in society. Cultural dimensions of the self. Culture plays a very important role in shaping how people see themselves and others. Culture provides shared meanings, values, traditions, and ways of living. Through culture, individuals learn what is considered important, acceptable, and desirable in their society. Psychologists and sociologists have explained that the nature of the self differs across cultures. On this basis, two broad types of self-concepts can be understood: independent self and interdependent self. Independent self is commonly found in individualistic societies. In such societies, there is a strong focus on personal achievement. Individual goals are given priority over group goals. Independence, freedom, and self-expression are highly valued. People are encouraged to be self-reliant and confident. Individuals with an independent self tend to describe themselves using personal qualities such as abilities, preferences, and achievements. Example, Western societies such as the USA and many European countries emphasize individuality and personal success. Now, interdependent self. The interdependent self is commonly found in collectivist societies. In such societies, greater emphasis is placed on relationships and social harmony. Family, community, and group membership are very important. Individuals see themselves as part of a large social group. Cooperation and mutual support are valued over competition. People with an interdependent self often describe themselves in terms of their social roles and relationships, such as being a daughter, teacher, or community member. Along with culture, social institutions play a crucial role in shaping identity through the process of socialization. Socialization is a lifelong process through which individuals learn the norms, values, beliefs, attitudes, and behavior patterns of their society. It begins at birth and continues throughout life. Let's now understand the major agents of socialization that shape identity. Number one, family. The family is the primary agent of socialization. It provides the first social environment where children learn language, emotional expression, moral values, and basic behavior patterns. Family relationships strongly influence self-esteem and emotional development. Next is school. Schools play an important role in shaping identity by teaching knowledge, discipline, social skills, and social roles. Teachers, classmates, rules, and evaluation systems influence students' self-concept and confidence. Then, peer group. Peer groups become especially important during adolescence. They influence attitudes, behavior, lifestyle, and identity. Acceptance by peers helps us in developing a sense of belonging, while rejection may affect self-esteem. Now, another is religion. Religion provides moral values, beliefs, and a sense of meaning and purpose in life. It influences attitudes towards right and wrong and helps us shape ethical identity. And then media. Media, including television, internet, and social media, plays a powerful role in shaping opinions, aspirations, and self-image. It influences how individuals perceive themselves and others in modern society. Now, linking culture, institutions, and identity. Culture and social institutions work together to shape an individual's identity. Culture provides the broad framework of values and meanings, while social institutions transmit these values through everyday interaction and experiences. Through continuous socialization, individuals develop a sense of self that reflects both personal uniqueness and social belonging. Now, coming to objective number 5, challenges to self-formation in modern society. In today's fast-changing world, individuals face new situations and pressures that strongly influence how the self develops. Identity fragmentation in modern life. In modern society, individuals perform multiple roles at the same time. A single person may be a student, may be a teacher or a parent, an employee or an online user. Each of these roles comes with different expectations, responsibilities, and ways of behavior. As a result, individuals often shift between roles depending on the situation. This can sometimes lead to confusion or stress, especially when the demands of different roles conflict with each other. However, identity fragmentation is not always negative. It can also provide flexibility, adaptability, and personal growth. Learning to manage different roles helps individuals develop broader skills, deeper understanding, and a more complex sense of self. Social media and digital identity. One of the most significant influences on self-formation in modern society is social media. Social media platforms allow individuals to express themselves, provide opportunities for creativity and communication, help people connect across distances. At the same time, social media also encourages constant comparison with others, creates pressure to appear successful or perfect, influences self-esteem and self-image. Having discussed these challenges, an important question now arises. If society and modern influences shape us so strongly, do individuals have any control over their lives and identities? This question leads us directly to our final objective, which is balance between individual freedom and social influence. Although individuals are deeply influenced by society, culture and social institutions, they are not powerless. Human beings possess agency, which means the ability to think, choose, and act independently within social limits. Individual agency and social influence. Society provides norms, rules, and expectations, but individuals can question social norms, resist unfair practices, make conscious choices, express unique ideas and identities. Through reflection and action, individuals can shape their own lives even while living within social structures. Social change and collective agency. When individuals come together for a common cause, their collective actions can bring about social change. History shows many examples where people challenged existing systems and transformed society. Social movements related to education, gender equality, human rights, and social justice demonstrate how individuals, through collective effort, can influence laws, values, and social attitudes. Thus, the relationship between self and society is not one-sided. While society shapes individuals, individuals also have the power to shape society. To conclude, we can say that self and society are deeply connected. The self develops through social interaction. Society exists because of individuals. Both influence each other continuously. Understanding self and society help us to understand human behavior, respect diversity, build healthy relationships, develop balanced and confident identities. Thank you, dear learners, for joining this module. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and stay socially connected.